From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hi everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Averi Haugesag.
And I'm Katy Wilson.
Today on the show, the trip from North Dakota to Florida is a long one. We'll talk to a young man who is taking a trip on a bicycle for a specific reason.
Also, millions of people are attached to their smartphones. The industry is changing and it's affecting how much you pay to stay connected. But first, the Congressional Budget Office is reporting a $114 billion surplus in the month of April. That is the largest surplus for the month of April since 2008. Overall spending fell by almost 2% compared to the same period of time the year before. The CBO estimates that the U.S. tallied up a $301 billion deficit. That is $187 billion lower than it was the previous fiscal year. Economists say the surplus is a sign of economic growth. California residents are turning to the iconic redwoods because locals say that poachers are endangering the national park. Park rangers are reporting that thieves are cutting chunks from the base of trees to sell on the black market. The burl from the trees is used to make furniture, bowls, and souvenirs. The burl found on these trees is critical to protecting the forest from insect infestation and fire. An 8-mile drive through the woods has been shut down to counteract the recent crimes. The plastic bag has been around for almost 60 years. However, this grocery store staple could be disappearing in stores worldwide. These bags become popular partly because of their lightweight and low cost. Recent studies show plastic from discarded bags soaks up additional pollutants like pesticides and industrial waste. The plastic industry hopes to avoid restrictions by promoting recycling. Grocery stores are fully aware of the cost of plastic.
It's a huge cost for us to provide them. It's also not great for the environment. A lot of the plastic bags don't get recycled.
A variety of stores in California, Washington, and Texas ban distribution of plastic bags and replace them with paper. Chicago is one of the latest U.S. cities to ban the use of plastic bags. City officials say they spend millions cleaning up the plastic litter each year.
A team of researchers at Ohio State University says it takes energy to keep control. They recently studied the link between low blood sugar levels and aggression in marriages. Their research found that low blood sugar levels could translate into more aggressive behavior. In the study, spouses were far more likely to stick pins into dolls representing their mates when blood glucose levels dropped. The research team says low glucose levels could leave a person with too little energy to overcome challenges and unwanted impulses. They advise giving a cranky spouse some form of carbohydrate in order to avoid conflict.
People pay a lot of money to stay connected through their cell phones. Just like the smartphones themselves, mobile phone plans are evolving.
Phones are not just phones anymore. They have become hubs of information, entertainment, and staying connected. Some would say this shift has been a benefit, but at what cost? Major phone companies such as Verizon, Sprint, and AT&T have traditionally dominated the U.S. market. Things are changing. Smaller companies are buying time on big carriers' networks and passing savings on to consumers. The big companies are taking notice.
Sprint, AT&T, and Verizon have programs now where you can basically upgrade every year. So it's good for those people who want the latest and greatest phone when it comes out.
The bigger companies have been losing customers to the likes of T-Mobile. T-Mobile has less expensive monthly rates, such as family plans that come out to about $22 a person. This includes texting, calling, and data.
I'd probably say that they're going towards more like family plans where all your lines, share minutes, data, things like that.
The larger phone companies are also looking to snatch away phone users from each other. AT&T offers to buy out contracts from the other carriers. While many people are hopping over to other companies, some are staying put. But most would agree, getting away from contracts is nothing but a benefit.
I think it's a lot easier. You can budget your money a lot easier. Just you don't hold you down to something that you don't want to be in. Something better and newer will come along quicker.
With people always trying to save money, phone carrier companies are taking notice by changing things from week to week. With a multitude of plans available, saving money can get more complicated. The result, though, could mean big savings for cell phone users. I'm Alex Stadnick, reporting for Studio One.
Wi-Fi is also changing the way people communicate. More free Wi-Fi spots let people connect without a cost. And that's the news for now. Avery?
All right, thanks, Katie. Now we're going to head on over to Timm Uhlmann for the weather news. Tim?
Thanks, Katie and Avery. This past week, a fire broke out in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and claimed about a dozen homes and unfortunately also one life. The victim was a 56-year-old man who got caught up in the blaze when he did not evacuate after being requested. According to the fire chief of Guthrie, the fire burnt to 3,000 to 4,000 acres, was 4 miles long and up to a mile wide in some places. This fire was one of many that broke out across the state due to temperatures in their 90s, high winds, and low humidity. For the upcoming summer, something that might fuel additional fires with dry conditions and warmer temperatures in some areas is El Nino. El Nino is warmer temperature waters in the Pacific, and these greatly influence the type of weather we get here in the United States. Specifically, for precipitation-wise, it'll bring drier conditions towards the northeast and wetter than average for the entire south regions. And unfortunately, where it's dry, it also brings warmer than average conditions there. So they're both dry and warm, which can lead to that fire danger. Cooler than average here for the southeast with El Nino-like effects. Now, to monitor the exact effect El Nino has any given year, the National Weather Service has many ways to gather that data.
Weather forecasts help us plan for sunny days with blue skies or stormy days with rain and clouds. Most forecasts are based off information from the National Weather Service. A lot of data goes into an accurate prediction.
The airport ASOSs and AWOSs, weather observations from human cooperative weather observers that come in on a regular basis, river gauge data as well that is transmitted via satellite to us.
ASOS stands for Automated Surface Observing System. They collect data like wind, temperature, and cloud cover. The National Weather Service also uses balloons to get data in the upper atmosphere. Each balloon has a lightweight package of instruments attached.
The GPS on board tracks the system so wind direction and speed at various levels of the atmosphere are encoded and retransmitted, as are the temperature and the relative humidity measurements.
All of this data comes back to the National Weather Service, where it is put to use.
That information is used in real time to paint a picture of what the weather is doing now, and that is the basis of the forecast.
Millions of points of data are processed by the National Weather Service every day. As time goes on, more and more becomes available to them, increasing the accuracy of their predictions. As long as we interact with the world around us, we will need these forecasts.
Weather, it's the next thing. It's like indoor plumbing. It's here to stay.
This is Scott Wolf reporting for Studio One.
To help supplement those observations made on the ground by the ASOS machines, the National Weather Service sends up weather balloons twice a day to gather the what's happening in the atmosphere at the higher levels. That brings us back to our weather question of the week. Which lower 48 state holds the U.S. May low temperature record? We've got California, Colorado, Minnesota, and Utah. And Avery, it might be that anybody who had a late spring thinks they have it, but it might not be them.
All right, thanks, Tim. Now we're going to head on over to Katie for a little bit more cultural story today.
Thanks, Avery. The best way to teach is often when the student doesn't even realize that they're learning. One school is using a creative way to promote education.
Most everyone has taken scissors to folded paper to create a snowflake. This visiting Chinese artist does something similar with much more detail.
Well, I'm just amazed by what I'm seeing.
There are many different forms of art in the world. Some educators say international art is beneficial to a student's education.
I think it's a very important benefit for our students, not just for art and design students, but also for students across the campus.
The University of North Dakota looks for new ways to engage students. Presenting different cultures is one way.
Bringing in people from different parts of the world can really help to open up possibilities for people to have a better understanding of other cultures.
To be able to see how other people think and interact and do things.
The president of the University of North Dakota says using art as an educational tool can be a more fun way to explore.
It makes us think about things that we don't always think about. It kind of gets us out of the day-to-day, gets us out of the mundane, and gets our mind and our thought processes to see something different through another person's eyes.
People like this visiting artist bring their creations with them. Educators are aware that the culture that comes along is just as important. With photographer Alex Stadnick, I'm Marissa Sorensen reporting for Studio One.
The artist featured in our story has some creations that are enormous. You know, Avery, some of her works extended nearly the entire length of the gallery at UND.
That's pretty huge. Thanks, Katie. The American Cancer Society says no one knows the exact cause of cancer. Scientists constantly study this problem to see what they can do to stop it, but it comes with a huge price tag. Today on the show, we will talk to a college student who has a plan to help fund the cost.
Closed captioning for Studio One is underwritten in part by NDAD, helping others to help themselves.
North Dakota is facing challenges in healthcare delivery. The University of North Dakota School of Medicine and Health Sciences is building a place to help meet the state's healthcare needs. In addition to a new structure, we're also building interaction between healthcare professionals while building a workforce through expanding class sizes. We're inspiring our youth to engage in healthcare careers and exploring ways to reduce disease. It starts here and ends here, building a better future for North Dakota.
At the University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, classes have real-life application. Mentors guide students. Our work improves quality of life by answering tough questions with creativity and innovation. The University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, training tomorrow's engineering and geology experts today.
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration, connecting vision to innovation.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by Options, your disability information source.
The American Cancer Society says half of all men and women in the United States will develop cancer in their lifetimes. Though an overall cure has not yet been found, millions of dollars are being put towards research to find one. Full-time college student and athlete Devin Coyle is here today to tell us about the efforts he and two other men are making to help raise $500,000. Thanks for being on the show with us today, Devin.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
So first off, can you just kind of tell me about the project?
It's called Bike to Believe, and what it is, it's a fundraiser in cooperation with the Bismarck Cancer Center. And by biking 2,500 miles from Bismarck, North Dakota down to St. Petersburg, Florida, we hope to raise $500,000. Along this route, we're also going to be interacting with cancer patients by stopping at these cancer hospitals.
That's great. So to just kind of get to know the team, yourself and the other two, give me a little bio. You know, where are you guys from? How old are you? That kind of thing.
I'm a sophomore here at the University of North Dakota. I currently play football and I'm enrolled as an entrepreneur major. Joe Berger is a high jumper down at the University of Mary, and then Brock Schauer also is in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Now, starting up this project, you guys must have had some kind of influence. Are there any personal connections that you have to cancer?
Absolutely, and like us, I think you'll find a lot of people are currently faced with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma had cancer my senior year of sports. She suffered neuroendocrine cancer of the stomach and small intestine, and then also Brock's mom, which would be Joe's aunt, has stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer.
Okay. So how did you guys get these bikes? I mean, obviously you have to have something kind of nice if you're going to be going 2,500 miles, right? So.
Yes. We got in contact with Shields All Sports in Bismarck, North Dakota, and they helped us out with all the bikes, and then also...
There's a picture of them right there too, so you guys all got one from them?
Yep, we got 3 Trek 520 Tour road bikes from Shields.
Got it. So what kind of events have you guys done to raise money so far?
This last weekend, we had a benefit breakfast held at the Mandan Moose, and it was awesome. Our families did a lot of work for us to get the silent auction, the bake sale, and all the food prepared. And all in all, it raised about $17,000.
Wow, that's a lot. And how much are you at total right now?
With the in-kind donations, we're at a total of about 110 grand.
That is not a small amount. So what was the point when you guys realized that you could raise that much money?
We've always had this goal really from the beginning. We've always set our goals high as people, and with sports and everything, we really set our goals forward. And so from the get-go, we really look forward to this.
So how are you planning on raising another $400,000 then, if you said you were at about 100?
Through the bike trip here, once we get going, we're hoping publicity really takes off. We're hoping that private donors check out the website online at bike2believe.org and really get involved and help us out.
Okay, and what has seemed to work best to get money for donations? I mean, you said that you guys were getting $15,000, $16,000. I mean, how are you doing that?
Through personal, or just talking to these people. I mean, most of these guys are big donors so far from the Bismarck Mandan area, so they know us personally through sports.
And there's a check. That one, where's that one from?
That is from Dale Paulke out of Dakota Community Bank. He was our first diamond donor, and he donated $15,000 right off the bat. So it's an awesome start and really got us going.
Okay, so how can people give a donation at home? You know, someone sitting watching the show today, how can they do it?
On our website at bike2believe.org with the numerical 2. There is an online form that you can fill out and donate now with a credit card or anything like that.
Perfect. So is it tough to do all this, being a full-time student and an athlete? I mean,
it's become
a big undertaking.
It's become a little time-consuming. With sports, 2 of us are involved with collegiate sports, and then you have school, of course, and then also this. It's become a little time-consuming. We're finding that hard work really pays off, and we're hoping to reach our goal.
You have a lot of events that you have to attend then as well?
Yep, we have news interviews, newspaper interviews, stuff like that. Just events they want us to get to. The Mandan Moose, the 2 hockey games, the Fargo Force, and the Bismarck Bobcats also had games in our name. So we're kind of running around the state here getting it going, but we're raising publicity along the way, so it's all...
That's great. Why has it been so successful, do you think?
I think we're really just energetic people, and I think people are falling on board. They have full confidence that we're really going to complete our goal, and kind of when they donate, they know it's going to an awesome cause. A lot of people are battling cancer, so kind of...
Yeah. It affects a lot of people,
exactly.
I suppose.
Yep.
So where are you guys going to stop on the way? I remember you said that at the beginning here. You said
we're stopping at most of the major cities along our route. So our first stop is going to be at the Roger Maris Cancer Center in Fargo. And from there, we're going to continue east along through Minneapolis, Rochester, Madison, Milwaukee. And then we're going to go down through the Chicago area and then pretty much just straight south, Indianapolis, Nashville, Louisville, Atlanta, and into the St. Petersburg, Tampa area.
So how did you plan for a trip like this? I mean, do you have to train? Do you have people that watch you in case something happens? I mean...
We've been training here basically since we started, and we knew we were going to do it. I live in Grand Forks, so as you know as well, snow doesn't melt too fast here. So I've only been outside here the last month, really. On the bikes, but before that we were at the wellness center on trainers and stationary bikes.
Yeah. Is there anything that you guys are getting a little bit nervous about as this is approaching, you know?
Only thing I'm really nervous of would be mostly just the safety. If sometimes the road, the shoulder's not as wide as we want it.
Yeah.
And then also I'm not too hype on looking forward to the mountains in the Kentucky, Tennessee area.
So in the long run, what do you guys hope to get out of this?
We really want to give the people that we talk to and that we interact with a reason to believe, and that's kind of where we got the name of our whole deal from. We just want people to know that we're out there fighting for them.
Perfect. All right, thanks for being on the show with us today, Devin.
Thanks so much.
Coming up, the job requires you to be funny over and over again. We'll talk to a comedian about what it's like consistently lifting the corners of people's mouths.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by Options, your disability information source.
It's
It's not the size of the woman in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the woman.
Some consider graduation the end of the college experience. For others, it's just the beginning.
And the university provided an environment where I could grow.
And many years after I graduated, I'm still receiving dividends from my experience as a student at UND.
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association is committed to growing the university by growing the alumni family.
At the University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, classes have real-life application. Mentors guide students. Our work improves quality of life by answering tough questions with creativity and innovation. The University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, training tomorrow's engineering and geology experts today.
Really admire the faculty. They're the ones that kind of helped push me through this.
Courses are hands-on and interactive. The communication program has so many different facets to it. One of the great things about the staff in the communication department is that they love what they do. They encourage you to really critically think and analyze everything you're learning. They're so into it, and it makes you want to be into it.
If you would like to attend a live show, go to our website at studio1.und.edu.
Actor Zac Efron is most famous for his role in Disney's High School Musical. Efron has graduated from high school and moved on to college in the upcoming film Neighbors. Efron stars as the president of the Delta Psi Beta fraternity. He and his brothers move into a house next door to a couple with a newborn baby. As time goes by, the couple soon realizes that this will soon become a problem. The fraternity is known for their epic parties, and both sides of the property line begin to fend for their turf.
A lot of my friends that went to college were in fraternities. I've heard sort of a little bit about what they're about, and the one overwhelming quality that I found fascinating about it was that they take it really seriously.
The majority of the filming took place in a suburb in Los Angeles. Cameras and iPhones were given to extras, partygoers, and cast members to bring authenticity to the party scenes. Neighbors begins with their turf war in theaters May 8th with an R rating. For previous generations, the idea of planes without pilots seems far-fetched. Today, remote-controlled aircrafts called drones are a topic of controversy. Governments around the world use drones for different purposes. Whether they use them for the military or day-to-day activities, people are starting to debate the uses for the technology. We wanted your thoughts on what you would do if you had your own drone.
I'd like to see how the glaciers distributed their moraines over the eastern part of North Dakota. That's what I'd like to see.
I would send it into like concerts so I could watch the concerts without going to concerts.
I would have it do my housework for me.
I would probably go into someone's house and creep on them just to see what they were doing all the time.
I would have it deliver my food to me.
If I had my own personal drone, I would figure out a way that I could make me make money.
I'd probably have it go grab my homework assignments from me from my teachers. If I could do that, I don't know if the school would let me do that, but if they would, that'd be pretty awesome.
A comment from our Facebook page from Sioux City, Iowa says, "Use it to travel. I've been to Europe, but I have a few other places I must see. The world is a beautiful place that everyone should experience. It's just the means that stops people." Zach from Grand Forks, North Dakota says, "I would fly mine into severe thunderstorms to take video of their structure and see if there's any differences in supercells that produce tornadoes and ones that don't."
Some people have the talent to make others laugh. We found a man who relies on that skill for a paycheck.
It
It probably takes a lot to become a comedian. Jay Black says one thing just comes natural to him.
I've always been goofy. I come from a long line of goofballs.
When he was only 6 years old, Jay used to practice stand-up comedy in his school's auditorium.
I'd get like super nervous and I'd get stage fright in front of 0 people, and I'd have to sit down and I go, how am I ever going to do this?
And so he didn't. Instead, he returned to a different type of school stage.
I was a high school teacher, and I looked around and said, if I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, I will die.
So he quit teaching to become a comedian.
I don't know how women work. I don't. They're complicated creatures. I'm getting to do exactly the thing I wanted to do when I was 6 years old. And how do you pass that up? My finger in mashed potatoes.
Jay Black has performed in LA, Las Vegas, Atlantic City, and everywhere in between.
The gap between where we are and where we want to be is so much slimmer than we believe. I said, I want to go do stand-up, and I went to an open mic, and 10 years later, this is my job. I've been on TV, I get to meet Kevin Nealon I got to go to a party at Kevin Nealon's house, and I was hanging out with Sarah Silverman and Conan O'Brien.
Whether it's becoming famous or not, Jay tells his audience to chase their dreams.
Is whatever that thing is that you want to do, now's the time to do it. You are young, and right now it feels like you have infinite time, but you will blink and you will be 50 and you will be miserable if you don't do whatever it is you want to do.
Jay visits a lot of colleges, and his stand-up routine has just as much advice for students as laughs. I'm Jennifer Allison reporting for Studio One.
You could fire that baby.
Jay Black has performed at more than 600 colleges nationwide. In 2013, he was named both the College Comedian of the Year and the College Performer of the Year.
What a great occupation, you know, he gets to have fun and he gets to laugh a little bit at work.
Yeah, definitely, and I love the advice he gives too about just going for your goals.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks, Katie. Now Tim is going to join us in the studio with a final look at the weather. Tim?
Thanks, Avery. Looking at temperatures for the upcoming week, we're looking at cooler than average temperatures across the Midwest towards the Great Lakes and on down south, warmer than average along the West Coast. Drier than average for most of the United States from the West Coast towards the Central Plains, wetter than average in just the Northeast. Brings us back to our weather question of the week. Which lower 48 state holds the U.S. May low temperature record? And the answer is actually California. Now, that might not be a place that is known for its cold temperatures, but in 1964 on May 7th, they set the record.
I definitely wouldn't have guessed that. Thanks, Tim. And that's our show for today. As always, you can follow us through social media or get more information on our website. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.
We'll see you next time.